Hello and welcome to Gamer Latte. My name is Ellen and I hope you are having a good week so far. Although if not, you're in the right place, because today I'm going to be talking about games that will hopefully bring you joy, and ones that have certainly brought me a lot of joy over the past year in particular. I don't know about you guys, but the thought process behind this video and a few videos to come is around compiling lists of games rather than them being based on things like genre or release date or platform that they're on. It's more around how the games will make you feel. I often like to kind of curate my mood. So sometimes I might be in a good mood and I want to keep the good times rolling, so I pick a game that I know brings me a lot of joy, some games with a really good sense of humour, or some games that I have loved for years. Whereas sometimes I'm feeling a bit sad and I either want to sort of shake the blues loose, or I kind of want to revel in it a little bit. It's not like a deep sadness, it's just a thoughtful sadness, and I want to play something that sort of lends itself to that, basically. If anyone else is like that, please let me know, because otherwise this is a very niche series of videos I've chosen to do. It's also very loud everywhere where I live today. Quite a few sirens going off, and also my neighbour's playing Destiny's Child upstairs, which, I mean, great choice of music, terrible choice of timing, but we persevere. So the first game I wanted to talk to you about is Untitled Goose Game, because nothing says joy like inhabiting the body of a naughty goose. I believe it was Plato who said that. I am sure you have heard of Untitled Goose Game, but for those who haven't given it a go yet, it's just so wonderful. I highly recommend it. You're a goose in this quaint English village and you've got this to-do list of kind of mayhem and mischief. It's a puzzle game is the fairest way to describe it. The things on your to-do list aren't always as straightforward as, say, steal the neighbour's shoe and put it in a lake. Sometimes it is very similar things to that, but it's kind of like you're not going from A to B. You have to figure out how to get the farmer to leave the boot unattended, and then how to get it out there without him noticing. It's that kind of thing, and it's just so fun. But you would also be forgiven if you just dipped into it to run around and honk your way through the English countryside. It's just so easy to pick up and drop into at any point, because you can just see where you left off on your to-do list. It also has couch co-op, so you can honk around with your friend if you want. That sounded worse than I meant it to. But yeah, if you feel like regular human life is just weighing down on you a bit, regular goose life is a lot more fun, I have to say. Donut County is just the best. I'm constantly surprised by how few people, at least that I know, have actually played it, but a lot of people seem to have heard of it. It has one of the best sense of humours of any game I've ever played, and a lot of that is in the dialogue and the concept, sure, but the item descriptions in that game are some of the funniest writing I have ever seen in a game. You basically play as a hole that swallows things, and it's controlled by a raccoon called BK. So he controls this hole and is swallowing the town, but eventually the hole swallows him, so he's now in the hole and he's forced to confront all of these people whose entire lives he's just swallowed. It's just so witty, it's so wonderful. The sense of humour in it is lots of really little bite-sized jokes, so they're the sort of things that you really want to share with your friends. It's also really easy to platinum if trophies make you guys happy. They certainly bring me joy. I'm a 3 on the Enneagram, so achievements make me happy, and I'm not fighting it. I have to apologise now before I go on to the next one, because I'm really dark all of a sudden, and even as I'm saying that, I'm getting lighter because the sun is messing with me. The sun is not bringing me joy. Oh, it's going darker again. It's going darker again. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use this as a segue. So, on the subject of light and dark, my next gaming suggestion is Bugsnax. Bugsnax is like 80% light-hearted, silly, surreal, hunting down different little anthropomorphic fruit and veg and feeding them to the residents and watching their body turn into different food items. But it also has a little bit of an edge. I haven't finished it, so this is a warning that's come from a friend who says that you can definitely just take it at face value and just have fun with it, but there are some darker themes, shall we say. So approach this one with caution. If you're feeling like fragile or you really don't want to think about anything heavy in the slightest, maybe skip this one over, but Bugsnax is just really good fun. But yeah, you play as a journalist who's been invited to the island by an explorer called Lisbeth Megafig, and the island is full of Bugsnax, which are these anthropomorphic... Can fruit be anthropomorphic? I don't know, but it is fun to say. It's one of those words that like I learned in film studies in college, and I've clung on to it for dear life because it's nice to say and it makes me sound smart. But yeah, the island's full of these little bug-eyed food items. You need to catch them, feed them to the inhabitants, and you're also trying to solve a mystery. So, you know, you're having fun with all your strawberries and bungers. All the food have got weird names, but there's a darker element to it, kind of weaving in and out. There's a lot to love about it, and yeah, I just really recommend it. Is there anyone who hasn't played Stardew Valley yet? I doubt it, but if there's one more person I can bring into Pelican Town, then I will, because not only is the single player mode a joy, you move to your granddad's old farm and you work to restore it whilst also getting to know the villagers, trying to figure out who you want to marry, trying to bombard them with gifts only to realise that there's a limit of 1 a week and you've accidentally given them garbage, so you have to wait. But the co-op is also wonderful. If you have friends who live far away, or probably more relevant at the moment, you have friends who you aren't able to see, it's just such a nice co-op game because it's not combat heavy. I mean, it can be completely free of combat if you so choose, and it's quite a nice sort of background game, so you can catch up with your friends whilst also farming away, trying to fight to marry the same person. The joy of Overcooked, and also moving out to a lesser extent for me, partly comes from organisation, I'm going to be honest. Like, getting all my friends organised and really like nailing a level is so satisfying. Getting 3 stars in a level is chef's kiss, excellent. But also from the game's sense of humour, it's funny. In Moving Out's case, it's quite literally slapstick. You get to slap your teammates whenever you want. You basically, in Overcooked, you play as chefs who have to prepare dishes, but each level brings about new obstacles which are usually environmental, like the kitchens are laid out in a weird way, or people are getting in your way. But yeah, I appoint myself head chef, which my friends are okay with. Like, I don't force myself. It's like a mutiny. And I often am the one who's sort of giving people roles and delegating, and I really enjoy that side of it. If anyone else is like that, please let me know. But yeah, with Moving Out, I think I take it less seriously than Overcooked, and I haven't quite gotten to grips with what it is that makes me sort of a bit more laid back when it comes to moving out. I think maybe it's the fact that you're just chucking stuff onto a moving van, and the sort of quips that the characters have amongst each other is a lot sillier. I'm also being sneaky by smushing them as the same entry because they aren't made by the same developer, but they're both published by Team 17. So I'm being sneaky smushing them together, but I want to have my cake and help it move out, so I put them together. Ooblets is basically Pokemon but cuter, and there are dance battles. So I'm going to wait whilst you put your card details in because I'm pretty sure I just sold it on that alone. It's just this brightly coloured loveliness with a really good sense of humour. You move to a new town, you're exploring, you're improving your house, you grow your own little ooblet pals, and yeah, you meet all the other residents. It's still in beta, which means they're still improving things, but they're also adding in extra content, which is quite exciting. It's also similar to Donut County, and all the items have funny names. Nothing is just a watering can or a shovel. They all have little silly twists on them. And you join a group at the start of the game. There's like 4 different ones to choose from, kind of like in a Pokemon-esque fashion. And I went with the kind of outdoorsy environmentalist group, and the leader of it is called Outgrid. Like, not Ingrid, but Outgrid. But yeah, it has the standard Stardew, Harvest Moon, Animal Crossing progression system where it's all quite slow. You kind of find yourself coming up with your own to-do list every day, and as you progress you unlock new areas, new opportunities, new items. But yeah, one day you might just buy a piece of furniture, and that's okay. And I mean that both in the game and in real life. I'm sorry, I know I've spoken about this game at least once before on this channel, but A Short Hike is just so beautiful, so wonderful. You basically have to hike to get phone service, but you meet lots of lovely anthropomorphic characters along the way. These ones are actually anthropomorphic because they're like bunnies and turtles and birds and foxes and things. And one of the first things that struck me too, which might not seem like a big deal, is that the main character that you play as is female. I'm sure that sounds completely redundant to a lot of people, but I think it's just the fact that the animal that you play as a bird called Claire. They don't have like a gendered appearance, if that makes sense. Like, they could easily have been male, but the developer chose to make the character female. I don't know, I'm kind of rambling. It's nice. I know that she's not the first animal female protagonist, you know, May from Night in the Woods springs to mind immediately. But I don't know, it's the times when they're not trying to make a statement about the female character and the story could have worked with either, but they choose female, that it just makes me quite happy. And it's still, you know, so infrequent that I really notice it when it does happen. But yeah, the whole game just encompasses that feeling of going on like a long, brisk walk, you know, and it's like warm and you can kind of feel the sun on your cheeks, but your cheeks are also quite cold and there's like a breeze. It's just so fresh. The game is so fresh and inviting, and it's like bracing, I think is the word I'm trying to think of. It's also another game with a good sense of humour. There's a particular character I came across who was sunbathing, and they talk about how much they love breakfast and how they get excited in the evening by the thought of breakfast the next day. And he is me, I am him. But yeah, it's heartwarming. It's really impactful when you get to the top of the hike that you're trying to make, but I won't spoil that here. I thought I would just finish off now with a few quick honourable mentions. The first one would be Watam, which is this wacky, weird, wonderful little game. It's very silly, although like Katamari, who's made by the same people, it does have a message, but you can just mess around with poops if you wanted to. What the Golf is another really good one. It's very funny. It takes the golfing mechanic and gets really inventive with it. It can get a little bit infuriating though, trying to get some of the hole-in-ones. And Fogs, you're a double-ended dog. I think that's enough said. Oh, the sun's come out for me to do my outro, that's nice. So those are a few games that I think will bring you joy. If I miss any out that you think should be on there, then please let me know. I am always looking for recommendations. And also, if there's any games on there that you love and you want to chat about, I will definitely be around in the comments to do that. But yes, if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. That really means a lot to me, and I really hope these games bring you a little bit of joy. If they make you laugh once, then I am happy. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.